Hi, good afternoon, good evening, and thank you to welcome to another motivational word for the day. This one, I got a couple really good topics. Let's start back with the great stories and themes and stuff. So last time we were talking about the undercover executives who people didn't realize who they were talking to. It was the owner of the company, and he's there. So imagine, scenario from last week was, hey, this is the taco chain across America. And, hey, look at Earl over here. Get back there and do them dishes, Earl. What are you, retarded? And they're just treating him like crap, and they're treating their other employees like crap, and then they're being rude to him. There's a couple other little scenarios I'd love to get into that convey similar messages, but let me just for 1 minute stay on the undercover executives theme. Another great thing about that show is like the undercover executive has a couple motives. First, he wants to see how his company's being run. What's going on with his company, And number two, some awesome things happen that he does for his employees who acknowledge him. Going to see some correlations here. Okay, so undercover executive. You got this guy, and he's sitting there, he's washing dishes, and the lady comes in, and she's cutting carrots, man, and she's chopping this, and she's working so hard, and she's keeping her up good spirits, and the kitchen manager comes in, hey, Betty, I need you to clean those 4 tables and mop the floor. Why are you so slow with the carrots? All right, no problem, I'll mop them in a minute. Betty, are you always getting yelled at like that? Yeah, he's kind of rough on me. Betty, how many days off do you take? I actually work 6 days here, and then I clean bathrooms at a hotel or whatever on my day off, because I got 3 kids at home, and I'm a single mom. Wow, Betty, you're really doing great things, Betty. Thank you. I mean, you're awesome. Thanks. I'll help you cut some carrots. No, it's okay. You do your dishes. I got this. Wow, hey Earl, hey John, good job on them dishes, man. I got bread and fry some shrimp. You want to help me? Yeah, man, cool. So what's going on? Oh, not much, man. I'm here, dude, prep cooking and getting stuff ready. But I mean, it's always been my dream to go back to art school, finish my degree, but man, I just can't afford it. I'm barely making rent, but I'd love to go back to art school. Okay. And then they're really nice to John, and they treat him good, and they're working hard for their company. They're showing up on time. And all of a sudden, the fake beard comes off and the goofy hat, and they're looking across from a guy in a 3-piece suit now. And he's the owner of the company with $600 million in the bank, and here comes Betty walking in. Hey, Betty, and she just starts crying. You're the owner of this company? I never knew. Wow, it's great to meet. Wow, Betty, I saw how hard you worked at cutting those carrots. I saw you dealing with being yelled at by management, mistreated. And I see how you got a family, you said, right? How many kids do you have, Betty? I got 2 little boys at home and a teenage daughter who helps out, and 1 other teenage boy. But, so I got 4. And you're responsible for all their everything, Betty? Yeah. Well, Betty, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write you and your family a check for $400,000. You're never going to have to cut carrots again or work triple shifts. You're going to give your kids a good life. You're going to get a house. You're going to do everything because you've been serving at this restaurant in my corporation like a slave. And you come in on time. You stay late. So your days of doing that are over, Betty. Here's a check right now for $400,000, Betty. You were respectful to me. You suffered under horrible management. You deserve this, Betty. And she just cries. She takes the check. And their life is dramatically changed. All right, now in walks Rob or whatever, the young kid who's fry cooking it up. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Sir, is that you? You're not the goofy dishwashing bar back? You're the executive? You're in a three-piece suit. Hey, man, you've been good to this company, Rob. You said it was your dream to go back to art school. I see how you take on extra shifts and you're very responsible, and you treated me with respect and dignity, and your coworkers. You know, you've adhered to the company policies. I only saw good things in you. So you know what I'm going to do, Rob? I've already called and I've paid 4 years of college for you to go back. For you. Full ride right now. No more peeling and deveining shrimp for you. You're going back. You don't have to worry about rent either. So I'm covering your living expenses for those 4 years. I'm going to give you a $50,000 a year stipend to live on. Thank you. Here's that $50,000 check. And I got you some extra money to buy some books. Thank you for all you do for this company. I don't know what to say. This is amazing. Thank you, Rob says to the undercover executive. All right. So you know all of these have a bit of a spiritual correlation. Remember, the people that treated the undercover executive like garbage, you know what happened with them during that meeting? Your time here at this company is over. I'm suspending you right now for mistreating your employees. And you are just horrible even to me. And you mistreat everybody. So you're right now fired. If I could, I'd probably put you in jail for, verbal and emotional abuse that you put on your subordinates. So your time is done here. Get out of my sight. No more talking to you. And you were, trying to take over my company on me and get me fired out of it. You're done. Okay, so we've already talked about the people who basically, they met Christ on earth and they've rejected him. They hated him because they wanted his job. Pilate said he saw through what happened. They turned him over to him for spite. They basically said, this is the owner of the company. If we get him killed, all of it will be ours. And power and greed, be on guard for it in your life. Because once you get a little taste of power and control, you don't want to give it up, and you want it more. It's like a drug. I've seen it in the military, not so much. People are pretty good, but I've seen it in the civilian world a lot. Of just power-hungry people. Okay, so that didn't go well with that person. So those who mock Christ and don't accept him for who he is and mock God, and it won't go well for them in the undercover executive revealed meeting. Now, those of you who acknowledge the undercover executive of Jesus Christ and say, wow, you are the Son of God. It is rightfully, the world is rightfully yours. And they're treating their fellow employees right. You're treating your fellow man right. Even though you're getting beat up on, you're treating people right still. You're being the better man in every situation. You're showing up on time. You're doing your part in life. You're doing what's right. You're keeping the commandments. You're teaching others the commandments. It's going to go well with you. Not only well with you, do you know why people are so zealous about Jesus and God? You never know until you get that $1 million check written to you. And I don't mean a physical check. I mean when you're out of answers in life and you finally get saved and God pours into you all the love and forgiveness. It's like getting that $1 million check. You cannot explain what a salvation experience is like unless you've been born again and actually have one. Unless you've had all your sins forgiven, or it's a God encounter. I can't explain it. But if you ever met with your Creator, it's like getting that $1 million check. Anyway, so bottom line is everybody who is on with the Lord and treating their fellow employees good and keeping the commandments and following God acknowledging him for who he is. You're going to have that undercover executive meeting one day, and he's going to say, here it is. The whole kingdom of heaven is yours. And also, it's true that God just will overwhelm you and take care of all your earthly needs too. Okay? So that's the correlation with Undercover Executive. I love those movies. People had these meetings with Jesus, and when they acknowledged who he was, Lord, my daughter is ill and dying, but you can save her. I acknowledge you, Undercover Executive. Here's your check for $1 million. Here, your daughter's healed. Your sins are forgiven. There's that Undercover Executive experience. Those that recognized who he was, they got healed. They got blessed. So there's been a lot of that, So you'll have those undercover executive experiences. The whole Gospels are full of them. People had God moments, man. Hey, my son is sick and paralytic and cast into the fire, and can you heal him? He healed him. People just had those undercover executive moments with him. The book of Acts, the book, blah, 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 blah. The Gospels are full of the accounts of people who had those moments with Jesus. So I encourage you to read it. That pretty much wraps up this one. So what are the takeaways? The takeaway is be good to your fellow man. Treat people with respect. If you're an authority, don't abuse people. If you're under people, God sees it and endure it, but man, he sees it. And keep the commandments, teach others the commandments, and just strive to be that employee of God's kingdom, that good Christian person, and he can say he's happy with you. Because there's a reward for acknowledging him. That's the premise of this. There's a great penalty for hating the undercover executive, and there's a great reward for getting in good with the undercover executive. I'm just going to come out and say it. You want to be in good with the undercover executive of the universe, aka Jesus Christ. Okay? That wraps up this amazing word for the day. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.